All right, take two. For some reason, there was some serious video issues. I don't know if it was on our end with the streaming or on Facebook, but I wanted to make sure you guys got all the content. So we're gonna take it from the top and we'll go back and delete the other video. So for those of you tuned in, this is Monday Morning Quarterback episode 40. And last week we covered how to build a personal brand, what the importance of that is, and that was kind of the first building block as we're doing a series here on obtaining and attracting sponsorship. So tonight we're going to dive into what a sponsorship deck looks like, how you should create that, the importance of it, and then some of the do's and don'ts as you're creating that sponsorship deck. So without further ado, since this is our second take, we'll cut right into it. And the first thing we're going to go after is what is a sponsorship deck? And we got asked this by several people last week, and it's basically the new terminology for a sponsorship proposal. Oftentimes these are digital, like a PowerPoint or another slide presentation. Typically they're not the traditional printed version. So tonight we're going to talk how you should prepare that deck, what it should include, with a real emphasis on obtaining product sponsorship. So if your goal is to get monetary sponsorship, I think you'll get some good information from this video series. However, I'm probably not the best guy to discuss that with you, as there's people much better than that. I'm a shop guy, I'm a racing guy, but I do know a little bit about this stuff as I've spent almost 20 years in the industry now. So one of the main reasons that all of this has went digital versus the traditional print is they don't end up in the trash. So for example, at PRI show we might get 30 or 40 of these paper brochures a day. We've got nowhere to put them, nowhere to store them when we're heading to dinner after the show or back to the hotel or home in our case. A lot of them end up in the trash. We see them as we're walking out of the show after all of the attendees have left. People are going to be much less likely to throw away a little flash drive, which is what I would recommend that you put it on. You can get nice aluminum ones where you could laser etch your logo, screen print your logo. If neither of those are in your cards, you can definitely just put a little decal on there so people can identify that that little thumb drive has your information on it. And more than likely, if you made a good impression, they're going to throw it in their backpack and take a look at your deck when they're back at the hotel or back in their office the next week. Another cool tidbit for having a digital version of this file versus a paper is it's much easier to email that, right? So if you email or regular mail your printed proposal, a lot of times it's getting thrown in the trash. Not to say that your email won't get tossed in a junk folder, but I strongly encourage that you start that with a phone call. So phone call, introduce yourself, start to build that personal connection, then send them the email. They'll be looking for it and less likely to throw it away. It's much easier and more flexible to do it in the digital form because you can customize your pitch for each company that you're going to go after. So that kind of brings us to part number 2, and that is what is in a sponsorship deck. What your deck should include. Typically, as you're trying to obtain product help, these are going to be 3 to 5 pages in length. They don't need to be overwhelming and have 10 or 12 pages and a bunch of useless information about every heat race you've ever won. They're not concerned with that. Certainly if you're pitching a company for a larger dollar value, it's probably going to need to be more than 3 to 5 pages, but it's going to be a lot more core data, a lot more time is going to go into preparing that. So your deck should include, number 1, some personal information about you and your team. Definitely include your social media stats and what your following looks like there, where you're posting content at on a regular, consistent basis. The next thing should be your personalized pitch for this company, and that goes back to doing it digitally. You can easily customize that. You don't have a bunch of money invested in pre-printed decks. So you're going to want to have a clear, concise message. These people are going to want to know who you are and what you stand for and why they should choose you. So be honest in this creative content. I think it's important to know that you're not going to align perfectly with every company, and that's okay. You shouldn't try to have a marketing partnership with a company that you don't believe in their product or they don't believe in you. Your values and opinions should align, and that's an important part of that. The last thing with this is you should have a defined target audience. Now, if you're pitching someone for a monetary sponsorship, they probably want to know what the geographic area or market that you're going to be in. That's not necessarily as important for a product sponsorship. They're going to want to know what series are you running, how many cars are typically running in that series. You could go so far as to let that company know what their market share is in that series and how you think you can help them grow that market share. And then in closing, you should have a thank you. Why should this company choose you? You should just have a few bullet points there, and then a simple thank you for them taking the time to look at your sponsorship deck. That's kind of what a sponsorship deck looks like. After having numerous conversations with people throughout the industry in marketing and business owners who have received these sponsorship decks, I've kind of compiled a small list of their most popular do's and don'ts, and so we will go into that. I will do the don'ts first, and the number one don't that I got from everybody was, don't start your pitch with me, me, me. It shouldn't be self-centered. Nothing's going to turn a potential partner off like a self-centered pitch. Your opener should be, this is how I can help you and why I'm the proper choice to help you grow sales, get larger market share. It shouldn't be, I'm the best and you should want to partner with me. The roles should be reversed as you're pitching that. So make sure you're mindful of that. Number two, don't only offer the common benefits that everybody else is offering. Okay, anybody's willing to put a logo on a car or a suit in exchange for a product or a discount. At that point, you're playing a numbers game. Everybody's doing it, and that becomes a very difficult game to win. So get creative in analyzing how you can help this company get more sales, and in turn, they can help you with product. The last big don't is definitely don't think short term. When we spoke with Chris Wheeler from Bell last week, he was very specific when he said most of his customers that end up getting on a deal start with a smaller discount. So unless you're bringing the resume of a top 5 driver in the country, you can expect that it's going to start with some type of discount, and that's okay. Think long term here. If you can get in and prove your worth to this company and do a good job for them, that discount is going to grow, and it might grow to the point of a free product sponsorship. So don't think short term. I know everybody wants like the whole enchilada right now, but you can definitely get some value from a long-term relationship with a company. I didn't say this at the beginning because this was my second take with this, and I was a little frazzled that our video quality was so poor the first time, but if you didn't get a chance to watch last week, episode 39, you should definitely do so, as that kind of builds our building blocks on this. Building that personal brand is so important. It's kind of like the chicken and the egg. If you spend all your time seeking sponsors before you've got a good personal brand and a good following and respect from your peers, you're going to have a hard time obtaining those sponsorship. You need to have that good solid foundation. So episode 39 you can find in the video section of our Facebook page, or you can search us on YouTube at CSI Shocks and subscribe to our channel, and all the videos are there. So the most important do's: definitely follow up. Whether the first answer was a no or a yes, or you hadn't heard anything, follow up. Be consistent in this approach, whether you're reaching out to the person on social media, via email, a phone call. I'd encourage you, don't bombard the person, but let them know you're interested, you're engaged, and you believe in your ability to help them grow their sales. So follow up is a very big one. That's the easiest way to create a bond and build a stronger relationship with that company. The next is going to be, in your pitch, establishing your fit and relevance between you and the potential company. Let them know why you're seeking them out. Not that you're just trying to settle because you need a set of shocks, but you believe they have the best shocks and you're the best person to represent those shocks. So be concise in that message as you are trying to determine your relevance. And the last thing is, if you're a customer, definitely identify that. I know for me personally and a lot of my peers, we're going to be much more likely to help somebody that's already using our product. They already believe in it. They might already be a brand ambassador in some aspect for us. So if you're using the products of the company you're pitching, definitely identify that. I think that gives you an advantage there. So those are kind of the things that we would recommend that you put in your pitch and you don't put in your pitch. Next week is the PRI show, so any of you that are attending that, we hope we've given you enough advance notice that you can kind of get your ducks in a row and go after some companies there and hopefully get some help. If all goes well with my travel, we will do Monday morning quarterback normal time next week. I'm going out to Las Vegas for the Winter Nationals. I think I'm supposed to get back at like 7 on Monday, so my goal is to do a big unveil on our new product that we're releasing at PRI, and my goal is to do that unveil on Monday morning quarterback prior to PRI. So hopefully I can get all that together, we can make that work. If not, I'll still give you a sneak peek, and we'll give you some more insight when we have a chance with that. So we will now take it to questions. It looks like our stream is working better, so if you had to tune in twice, I apologize, but we will get this posted. Again, I don't know if it was Facebook or us or why the stream slowed down. It looks like it might be slowing down again for some reason. So anybody that's tuned in, do you have any questions? John Randall, fastest chicken in the South, tuned in. Looking forward to having a meal and a drink or two with him in Vegas this week. Rumor has it he's going to be racing in Vegas in the new senior quarter midget class. His last start in Vegas was driving one of my cars, and we got shafted. Everybody was cheating and had hogged out carburetors and everything else, and they all got thrown out in tech. We should have won that race. Dave Sharpley, thank you for the kind words. Again, I'm sorry that everybody had to tune in twice. Hopefully the feed is much better and it was worth me redoing all this again. So anybody that's tuned in, have any questions on tonight's topic or anything else, and we're certainly glad you were able to catch us. Again, we will post this for everybody to see. Man, it looks like it's having streaming issues again. This must be on Facebook's end, because I did a totally different stream this time. So, all right, we're going to sign off before it locks up. Thanks for tuning in. Please share our video, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hope you all have a great night. Thank you.